Child work. Why is inner child work important for you as an adult? There are so many good reasons why inner child work is important for you as an adult because it promotes peace of mind, it heals your heart, it suits your soul, it helps you. It will empower your present. It will enhance your authenticity. It will definitely increase your emotional intelligence. It will help you cultivate self compassion. It will help you improve relationships. Definitely will help you improve relationships, build resilience. But most and foremost, it will help you break unhealthy patterns, unhealthy habits, because you will become aware of many of the unhealthy habits, unhealthy patterns that are playing in your subconscious, unhealthy habits that you can definitely change. And it will help you heal past wounds. Because the wounds are in the past, the ache of the wound from the past is in the present. So we're going to learn to heal that past wound, heal it, forgive it, move on. Um, and this is of tremendous, tremendous importance because when you address and heal this unresolved emotional wounds, it helps you understand the earlier experiences that you had as a child, and you will work towards your well-being, your emotional healing, and your personal growth. Um, and in this particular inner child work, I'm talking about three specific parts: healing the wounded child, nurturing the adopted child, and integrating the wise adult. So this is what is different about this creating is inner child work, because most of the other workshops, most of the other practitioners, the way they approach the inner child work is one day or half a day or a few hours. And that is not sufficient because all of these three parts need to be addressed. And these three parts are based on internal family system model. Um, and by tackling all of these three parts, by addressing and working with all of these parts to heal, nurture, and integrate, it will it will make you a better person. It will make you a happier person, a more fulfilled person. So let's look at some of the reasons of why is this important. But inner child work, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity for everybody who's experienced unpleasantry. And it doesn't have to be oppressive dynamics of patriarchal hierarchies of or poverty culture, because um, these are definitely going to create inner child wounds. It can be just simple play with children that you get hurt unintentionally, and that creates an inner child world. Or it can be bullying in during play with children, and that will create an inner child wound. And there's something you do want to address. I'm clicking through some of the things here to you do want to address this. Now, another reason to why the inner child world is important is that it will offer you the pathway to liberation. What are you liberating from? Because you're not incarcerated. So it's not about incarceration, but it will help you liberate your soul, your heart from those heavy memories, from those wounds that you still carry with you, that you carry with you in who you are, in your authenticity, in your confidence, in your performance, in how you present yourself. It will help you, empower you, and teach you how to reclaim your authentic self. Because when you get wounded as a child, or as an adolescent too, it affects your authentic self because you begin to carry that experience as always wondering of what did you do wrong. And this diminishes your authentic self. This diminishes the freedom and the confidence to be who you are without always wondering of why did that happen to you. And we're going to learn to you are going to learn to understand. You're going to learn to understand why that happened to you to some degree, because we're not in this workshop, we're not going to go back to those people and ask them why did they do the things they did. Well, sometimes we can if our and I don't want to use that word. Sometimes we can do that and sometimes we cannot. So, but that's not the purpose of this work. The purpose of this work is to work with your inner. What is inner? That it was wounded, that your heart is still heavy, that your mind keeps going over and over, that why did it happen to you? What did you do wrong for that to have happened to you? Or that was a rise that shouldn't have happened to me, or so many other thinking patterns. And another reason for this workshop for you is to dive a little bit into your past to unravel the layers of conditioning that have influenced the beliefs, behavior, and self-worth because of this childhood or adolescent wound. Yeah. And it's interesting, as I'm an immigrating to USA, it's interesting to notice that inner child doesn't apply to me as an immigrant or to you as an immigrant, only to the childhood and adolescent as growing up. It applies to me and to you moving to the country and learning to adapt to it, because that implies a beginning. And although you're not a child or an adolescent when you move to, well, you might be, to this country, this new beginning takes you into an experience where you need to learn and adapt new things. So I have a lot of Romanian friends that have taken this inner child work from Romanian practitioners, and I'll have to say that it's good enough, but it doesn't cover everything that needs to be covered. Why? Because someone that has not moved and has not immigrated cannot possibly understand all of the ramifications of being an immigrant, starting it over, sometimes from zero, sometimes from 0.5. Someone in my example, Romanian, someone in Romania that's never immigrated to USA cannot possibly understand the ramification over your heart and over your soul and over your self-worth and confidence of what you have to go through, what you have gone through to get to where you are as an adult in these days. It's not wrong for them, but it's not sufficient for you, right? So that is very important to specify to you, because addressing just the inner child is good, but it's not sufficient. addressing the adaptive inner child is necessary, because in this adaptation, you've already healed a lot of wounds and you've created a lot of habits, and you've grown and expanded through this adaptation. But this is definitely going to be a two-part for you that have immigrated. Yeah. And even if you're a US born resident, you might have moved from a small town to a huge town, that can apply to you too, because it's such a cultural shock. Yeah. You just have to learn and adapt to a new way of life, a new way of being. And then you ought to integrate a wise adult, because as an adult, you've learned so much and so much. There is so much wisdom that you have gathered through all of these experiences. No experience will leave you without wisdom. Yeah. And even in the most horrific experiences in a childhood, I know a lot of people that they've experienced horrible things in a childhood, and later on as an adult, they begin to advocate for the people that experience the same, and also begin to help other people that have experienced the same, similar. And that's a big deal. So by taking this workshop, I don't mean that you are going to integrate a wise adult so you can begin to help others on a part-time or full-time basis, but you will gather the wisdom and some of the skills on how to possibly say something, say the right thing to the right person at the right moment. And that is not small. It's not small at all. So what we're going to do in this workshop is going to be a live workshop and a very, very small group, because in this small group, you will have my full attention. In large group, you will not get the practitioner's full attention. But in a small group, you will, because there is time, and then a practitioner can allocate their attentional resources only so much. Yeah. And to me, it's very important that you are going to be addressed, your concerns are going to be addressed, and you are going to take as much from this workshop as possible, and probably even more than you need. Yeah, probably even more than what you thought is possible. There's also patterns in a childhood or adolescence, of emotional neglect. Emotional neglect, it's not per se a traumatic experience, but it overshadows the need for care and support, and it perpetuates a sense of helplessness, powerlessness, and limited possibilities. And this manifests in complex ways, and this creates so many unhealthy habits for you, and it begins to regenerate patterns in your adult life that I'm sure you don't want them. And probably you don't even know that these patterns are being recreated. And there are such beautiful ways to heal these patterns and to release these patterns little by little, and become aware of where your habits are coming from, and peace and forgiving those those experiences of origin. Why is this important? Is important because the inner child is part of your internal world. Inner child is part of your internal world, and working with your primary developmental stages. And this applies to adolescents too. Working in this is recognized over many disciplines, like modern day psychology, like psychotherapy, personal growth, spiritual healing, and even ancient spiritual practices. All of this aim to help you heal your past wounds, but not all of them are going to address all three aspects of the inner child: healing the inner child, nurturing the adoptive child, and integrating the wise adult. Right? Inner child work is a very powerful integration tool that is compatible with all daily practices. And from me, you will get daily tools. And by tools, a few thoughts, thinking a few thoughts to practice. It takes like 3 or 4 seconds a day, and these are very specific tools that are going to help you enhance your potential and eliminate the restrictions and limitation from your daily experiences. And participants from this workshop, they've mentioned so many additional insights from the current practices and very expansive life improvements. And people have reported great improvements in relationships, great improvements in their work status, and many more. And this is a highly transformative workshop. And if you don't transform, then it's not possible to transform with me, with my workshops. And you will gain a lot of tools to self-nurture, to become more emotionally resilient, a lot of insights into your adaptive qualities, because you're adapting the inner child brings you a lot of qualities that you might not be aware of it. And it will help you with greater self-acceptance and compassion. Oftentimes we are so overcritical over the adoptive child, that why didn't the adoptive child do more or do enough or do good enough? So this workshop will help you clear all of that, and you will understand the strengths that you have developed, cultivate self-compassion, and definitely will foster a sense of inner peace. You will get a lot of tools for healing your wounds, for integrating wisdom in your daily practices. And mind you, this is not a surgery where you go in and you remove a tumor, right? But through this workshop, you will go in and remove a lot, right? Remove a lot, and you will be provided with tools that are going to help you to continue to remove that which needs to be removed, to accept that which to be accepted, to continue to develop your strengths, to identify more of your strengths, and to learn to self-nurture, to self-care, to self-love, to take better care of yourself. And a lot of here are some testimonials. Only from the inner child, this workshop is made out of 3 parts. the healing the inner child, nurturing the adaptive child, and integrating the wise adult. So only from the first part, healing the inner child, here I have a few testimonials. And Maria says, initially, I doubted if revisiting the past would bring any real change. But this workshop wasn't about dwelling on pain. It was about understanding the pain and moving beyond it. The feeling was profound. Oh, that's a beautiful testimonial, isn't it? And here's another good testimonial from Daniela. Daniela says, I used to avoid conflict, afraid of standing up for myself. And through this workshop, I found the strength to assert my needs gracefully. Now I navigate challenges with a newfound resilience, honoring my voice and standing up for my beliefs. Now that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And here's another good one. Simona says that as a parent, the workshop has been a revelation to her. And she says that I become more present for my children, breaking free from patterns that I inherited. And our home is now filled with laughter, understanding a profound sense of connection that I never thought possible. Now, this is a big deal, because if you think that addressing your inner child applies only to you, it never does. Because when you address your inner wounds, that which is heavy on your heart, that which is heavy on your soul, that which has you question yourself, whether you're good enough, whether you're smart enough, whether you're beautiful enough, whether you have achieved whatever. This workshop, the inner child workshop that I offer, which is in 3 parts, it will go so much beyond you, and it will help you improve your relationship with those around you. And whether you're a parent or not a parent, whether you're 30 years old or 60 years old, it really doesn't matter. Because when you soothe your soul and heal your heart and learn how to protect your heart in a healthy way, and how to nurture your soul in a healthy, pleasant way, sky is your limit on how you wish to experience yourself in life. And that is a big deal. So why you must attend? Well, you must attend because you will discover your strengths. You will get to discover unique strengths within your adaptive self. And of course, you'll cultivate resilience, because it is a lack of resilience. Of course, you didn't have resilience as a child. You had resilience, a different type of a resilience. But as an adult, there's a different resilience that it's good for you to expand and grow on that resilience, and learn ways on how to be less affected by other people that hurt your heart or insult your soul. Yeah, how many times was your soul insulted? Or maybe your intelligence was insulted. And I'm sure that has happened many times. So you will get a lot of tools to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. There are so many strengths that you have that you're not aware of it. Yeah, sometimes you might think that you're just under a lot of stress, or you might have a lot of anxiety, when in fact you are just running your strengths. Yeah. So it's very interesting to discover all of that, to celebrate your strengths, and to remember to use our strengths in when needed. And to learn to foster self-compassion, it's a skill that everybody Everybody can never have enough self-compassion. In this culture of super achievement, and well, the social media bombards us with how good we should be, how much we should achieve, and how beautiful we should be. It puts a strain on who you are, and it puts a strain on who you think you are and who you think you should be. And learning to develop self-compassion is probably more important nowadays in this digital age than ever before. And talking about the wise adult, here we have some beautiful testimonials for adoptive child. But the wise adult is an important resource for you and for everybody, because we have gathered wisdom from any experience we have. We gather wisdom. Well, especially when we make mistakes, we learn a lot from making mistakes. But you can also learn from other people's mistakes instead of learning from your mistakes, because that is very smart. So all of this wisdom that you've acquired, and you will learn to acquire more wisdom, you'll be a resource of clarity. And clarity is so important. A lot of the stress in life, it's what's the word I want to use? A lot of the stress is caused by a lack of clarity. And sometimes arriving to clarity is not that simple. So I will give you a lot of tools on how to arrive to the clarity you need in specific circumstances to be able to look at different perspective, to help you self-explore, engage in mindfulness, and then develop an intentional effort to engage in mindfulness. And then I will give you some introduction to feelfulness. And connecting to your inner wisdom is so important. We all have wisdom, but we can always gather more wisdom. I mean, is there times when we have enough wisdom and we don't need any more? I don't think so. So acquiring more wisdom is, everybody wants more wisdom. Somebody that says doesn't want more wisdom, ask them why and have them think about it, because they will come back to you and say, well, actually why I do want more wisdom if I'm thinking about it. Well, yeah. So when you have more wisdom, you will be able to make better decision making. You will heal and integrate. So here's the third part of the workshop that helps you heal and integrate. Although this is called Integrating the Wise Adult, and the first part of the workshop, it says heal the wounded child, you will continue healing through the adopted child and through integrating the wise adult, because all of these three parts need to be addressed, all three parts as a whole. All right? And Randy, do you want to add something, or do you want to pass? Okay, so Randy wants to pass. So let's look at some characteristics of a wounded child. Some characteristics of a wounded child is fear. Fear is number one characteristic. And it comes with a feeling of anxiety and apprehension about possible threats and danger, even though some experiences are not going to be a threat or provide danger. Maybe uncomfort and maybe a challenge, yeah, but not threat and danger. Shame, a sense of feeling flawed and unworthy, inferior. That's not good. Anger, a strong feeling of displeasure or hostility to others. Always And this anger always comes with over criticism of others, seeing what others are doing wrong and how badly they do the things they do. So we can have an opinion over, but we don't have to be angry about it, and even more so express this anger. Guilt is another one. A sense of remorse, of regret of what you've done, right? You could have done better. Well, maybe so, but let's look into it and look at, could you have done better? Yeah, that's a good question. Sadness, it's another characteristic. It's a feeling of sorrow or despair. Anxiety is a feeling of unease and nervousness that comes from a sense of uncertainty. Yeah, we should be uncertain throughout the day by checking with our wisdom and then make a good decision using our clarity. But overabundant of uncertainty that causing you anxiety and nervousness, that's not good. It's not good. Jealousy is another trait. When you envy or resent others because they have more than you, or something they have better than what you have, and that's just a perception, because in real life and in facts, from their perspective, they probably don't. And insecurity is another one. Loneliness is a big one. Feeling isolated or disconnected. Self-doubt. You should have some self-doubt as a healthy measure to help you improve who you are, to improve your skills, to present yourself better, to just better yourself at everything that you can do. Because if you don't learn something new every so often, then what? Yeah, you want to learn something new every so often, because it's delicious. Learning something new every so often is delicious, and learning something new about yourself every so often, it's even more delicious. Rejection is another trait, and betrayal is probably the ugliest of all of them. The trait of betrayal is probably the ugliest of all of them, a feeling of being let down or deceived by someone you trusted. Yeah, and this is not very easy to heal. But in this workshop, I'm going to help you address all that and begin to heal. Maybe you can just heal at 100% during the workshop, and depending on your experience, or maybe you can heal 90% of it, and that's a good healing. Yeah, because even when you go through surgery, you've gone through surgery, the doctor has removed the boo-boo, but then you still spend time recovering and recuperating. So goes with healing your heart and healing your soul. Only that, recovery and recuperating from healing your heart and healing your soul, it's much, much more pleasant. Randy, do you want to add something, or you want to pass?
When is the workshop? When is it?
The workshop is going to happen in January. Is a 3-day workshop, well, 2.5, because it's important. We begin on Friday night, January 26th, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. online, and this is Central Standard Time. Then we follow up on Saturday, January 27th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Then we continue on Sunday, January 28th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Central Standard Time. And then we're going to follow up on your reflections and on your finding and on your liberation on February 2nd, 2024, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., and probably even longer if needed. And that's again Central Standard Time. So let me tell you, I have participated in a lot of weekend workshops, a lot of them. And these workshops, they were full weekends, and I participated in workshops. They have been 2 weeks long, 3, 4, 5, 6 days long. A workshop that's been going on for 2, 3 hours, it's good. You might forget about it. You learn something, you learn a lot, and you implement and you integrate, and then you forget about it because you've integrated all of that. But a workshop of this magnitude is not a small thing, and it is so fulfilling because you begin to engage with others and learn from others, and others will learn from you, and you contribute to others, and others contribute to you, and that's not a small thing. It's definitely not a small thing. And by addressing all of these 3 different parts, it will provide you with 360 degrees, and counting the follow-up too, with for what you need. So this full weekend workshop are just the most amazing and fulfilling and joyful workshops. Randy, you have something to add, or you want to pass?
I see that it says it's based on the internal family systems methodologies.
Yes. Yes, when internal family system looks at inner child, they will address the wounded child, they will address the adoptive child, and integrating the wise adult. Most other systems, most other approaches will not address all these 3 parts. Yeah, and we're probably familiar with parts therapy. So in parts therapy, you might have subparts of these 3 particular parts, and you're going to do psychotherapy individual, part by part. But this 3 major part makes up who you are at your core based on how you grew up. Yeah. Now, let me specify this. I am not a believer that because this happened in your childhood, because of this, then that. I'm not a believer of that, and I will never encourage you to believe in that. I will not contradict your belief if that's what you believe, but I'm not a believer of that. Why? Because the same experience, now let's go back. Why? Because whatever the wounded child has experienced, the adopted child has already resolved it and healed it all by itself. It's possible, and a lot of people have done that without intention, just by the process of adapting, right? So does that answer your question, Rainy?
Yep.
All right. Anything else, or you want to pass?
I'm going to have to log off in about 5 minutes, but nothing else.
All right. So that would do it. So one more time, this Healing Your Inner Child workshop addresses your wounded child, healing your wounded child, nurturing your adopted child, and integrating your wise adult. And this is going to be live, in person, online, in a small group, to make sure that every single one of you gets my full attention. All right. Thank you, and I look forward to see you there. Randy?
You should mention how to sign up for it.
Well, to go here on this website, on my website, on the link, you go to my website here, and creating ease, if you just go here in creating ease workshops, if you go to my website, creatingease.org, and then go to workshops, and then from workshops, you go find out more. This gives you a little bit of overview, and then you go find out more. Then it will take you over here to this webpage. It's a rather long webpage because I want to give you more information. And then you just go down to enroll now. Yeah. And you want to do this as soon as possible because just a small group I'm only taking in a small group. Randy?
They can pay with credit cards, Venmo, PayPal, all that stuff.
Okay, say that again.
Do they pay with credit cards, Venmo, PayPal?
Yeah, credit card or PayPal. Yeah, credit card or PayPal, and that's all. It's all set up in the website, and you can pay at once, or you can set up for payments just to make it more comfortable for you. It's all automatic payments. Depends on.
I'm sorry. It's a package deal too, right? I mean, it's.
Oh yeah, definitely, it's a package deal. Yeah, I would encourage you to not miss any of this, because these 3 areas are not going to be limited. Like, it's not like Friday we're going to do the wounded, and Saturday we're going to do the adapted, and Sunday we do the integrate. Absolutely not. This is going to be very much tailored to the participants. And we are going to move at the pace to which the participants need to resolve and go through what they need to go through. All right?
Who is it for? It's for anybody?
It's for anybody. Anybody who wants to heal their heart, soothe their soul, and liberate from self-limiting beliefs, from self-doubt, from, if you experience trauma in childhood, then that's definitely for you. If you're experiencing a lot of patriarchal and linear hierarchy here in the corporate world, or whatever job you have, that is just so oppressive and overwhelming, this is for you. If you grow up in a limited resource type of a country, like I grew up in Romania, and with a lot of limited resources, that now I acknowledge that it was a limited resource type of a culture. Growing up over there, I did not know any better, right? But that, for example, has provided a lot of adaptive qualities and gave me a lot of strengths, which I never thought that they're strengths up until I saw others that they didn't have them, and they were stressed over things that for me was simple. So even this kind of things you will learn from small little things like this. You will learn and you will enhance. Anything else, Randy?
That's it. Sounds good.
Right. All right. So thank you for watching this, and make sure to let me know your question. You can contact me through the website, or through the comments, through the email in private. Most people would want to contact me in private, but send me your questions, and I look forward to seeing you. You will enjoy this. This is a workshop for you to remember. All right. Thank you.